Hi everyone, welcome to the Leadership Lab. Here we explore leadership and leadership enhancement tools for the enrichment of human life. Today we have on the studio Mr. Amit Kapoor, who is also my batchmate from my college in Manipal, and he has an amazing story. First, with his family owned company Everest Blowers, which he joined in 1995 and grew it multifold, and finally had a huge multi-million dollar exit. And thereafter, in a very short span, just from 2003 onwards, he set up a cutting edge technology company called Nano Bubble, which is for nano bubble technology, which has a very huge impact on the water purification industry and has a 360-degree impact on life. Hi, Amit.
Thank you, Sachin. Thank you so much and pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So, Amit, what are the main leadership aspects that have impacted your life and that you want to share with my viewers?
I just have one leadership philosophy and I believe in, growing with your team.
Mm.
So in my philosophy, you should and you cannot grow alone.
Mm.
You have to take the team along.
Mm.
So everybody grows as a family, and this is what I tell to all my people.
Mm.
This is what I used to tell them at Everest also, and this is what I tell them at Nico Nanobubble as well.
Mm.
So that is the only funda which I believe in and I practice.
The success is a mountain which has different sides to enter and different terrains. So every leader has their own typical terrain to cross and own tools to overcome the challenges of the terrain. So how have been your very specific leadership aspects with your team?
See, it is very important that when you're building a team from day one, and you choose the right people, and if you choose the right people, then it becomes easier to work. But if you feel that somewhere down the line the person is not correct or is not able to work as per your requirements or the job's requirement, then you should take the immediate corrective actions and train him or upgrade his skills, do all that stuff. And I feel that once you do that, you'll automatically have a good team to move along with.
So going to the first thing you said, recruit the right people. How do you do that? That is a $1 million question in itself.
Yeah. So recruiting the right people means that, the person's role should be defined specifically within the organization, number one. Because most of the times we hire and we don't know कि इससे करना क्या है या कराना क्या है. What all can you do? So our philosophy is like, let me see where all I can fit this person.
Yeah.
Whether it should be the other way around. If I have a requirement for a R&D head, then I should have very clear job roles in my mind. What do I intend getting it out from him? And he should have those specific qualities. I'll give you a very small
But how do you test those qualities? Because invariably, as an entrepreneur, I've seen that when you recruit people, what you come across in the short interview process, it has a very different outcome very often.
So a lot depends on the interviewer and the questions you are asking. I'll give you a very simple example. If I want to hire an application engineer, I'll ask him questions which are specific to that application. Where I want to make him work. If he knows the ABCD of it, rest I can do. But he should have that basic knowledge.
So you have a very technical interview process for technical people.
Yes.
But how do you test the people's attitude during the interview?
Attitude is something, which is inbuilt. I would put it like that.
I know, but how do you know it before?
Yeah. So his tone of answering the questions, his confidence speaks a lot about his attitude.
So you try to gauge whether he's speaking internet read stuff or he's speaking from the heart from his tone. Is that what you're saying?
See, it is very important that when you are interviewing somebody, you have to be technical on your own. You should have thorough knowledge, what you're talking about. And through that, you can easily judge whether the person, whatever he's speaking, is all made up or he's actually speaking about the facts.
So what you're saying, I'm just trying to capture what you said. That you said that first thing you said is interviewing, getting the right people. For that, defining the job description very clearly. And then in the interview process, clarifying the job description very clearly to the people. But asking them a lot of technical questions?
Not only technical, but also what is their vision in life? Where do they see themselves, 5 years or 10
And
years?
gauging from their tone whether they are blabbering out internet read stuff or is this coming from their heart?
Gauging from their tone and their vision.
Yeah. So, okay, so we crossed the first milestone of recruiting the people.
See, you want
How
to
do
have
you-
like-minded people in an organization.
So, how do you inspire the people? Because people, I feel that in life there are no promoters and there are no employees. There are employees who earn much more than promoters, and there are promoters who earn much less than employees. There is only a promoter mindset and an employee mindset. So, how do you inculcate the promoter mindset in people?
See, the basic thing which you need to inculcate, which we have out
I mean,
here
in
is-
the rock stars. I mean, you can't have the promoter mindset in everyone.
No, you
but-
can. It is very easy, in fact.
Mm, Okay.
My team, everybody is a rock star. I
Yeah.
put it that way. And I tell them every day that you're a big rock star. Bigger than me.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first thing is that you don't have to take them as an employee, you have to take them as a family member. And you have to tell them, your company policies and the culture should be such that it speaks by itself. That, like, I have my office boy who's been with me for 31 years. In fact, he and me joined business on the same day.
Okay.
I graduated from college and he graduated from the house
Okay.
and came to the factory.
Okay.
Similarly, the entire team out here is ex-Everest, the business which I sold.
Yeah.
So everybody, the only two new people are two scientists who I got from different parts of the world who had some basics about nanobubble technology, just to help me build it up. But rest of the team is all ex-Everest. So everybody was like, wherever you go, take us along. We just want to stay with you. So we've been like a family. We've grown up together.
So, but you have to also do like performance evaluation and everything. So, how do you balance the family aspect with the performance evaluation aspect?
So
Because
like
performance evaluation needs sometimes hard feedback, and that can be sometimes, sometimes you have to let go of people. So, not everybody will always work perfectly. So, how does the family rule apply over there?
So, Sachin, broadly speaking, our attrition rates have been literally zero, I would say, like that.
Okay.
So, we try as hard as possible
To train the people.
We have a lot of internal and external trainings.
Okay.
We don't only train them on their skills, but we also train them on other things like soft skills. So, like, all my peons are trained for how to lay a table and how to put a cup of coffee on the table and how to serve the guests. So we have those kinds of trainings as well. We take care of that. So we are building the overall personality. It is not that if he's the engineer, he'll only have technical skills training. So you'll have a soft skills training also. You'll have presentation skills training as well. So it is the overall grooming, altogether. So your growth has to be in 360 degrees. Salary growth is not just growth. The employee growth has to be 360 degrees. Then only the organization will grow. And that is one of the important fundamentals we practice. And that is how we are able to retain our people. Second comes respect. Everybody is, on the same path in our organization. So when we have office parties, we all sit together. It is not that I have a boss, so I'm sitting separately and the rest of the staff is separate.
Equality.
Yes. So we have a common lunchroom. Everybody has lunch together in that room, So many times we share meals as well. So all these things, I mean, speaking is one thing, but practicing it on the ground is what really makes a difference. And they observe everything. And that is what, motivates them also to do better. Not only for themselves, but also for the company. So they take the company as their own. And that is how you build that entrepreneurship skill into them, that promoter skill in them. So they become the process owners. They become the company owner. And that is how you are able to run good businesses. It's ultimately all about people. If you have the best of the technologies, you have the best of the machines, but you don't have good people, nothing will happen.
I like the fact, Amit, that you've spent a lot of time and energy on training your people. So share with me a little bit more about the motivation. How do you bring intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation in your people?
So, see, Sachin, one is you pay them well. But that is, everybody can do it. Any company can do it.
Yes.
But second is you develop them in a 360 degree, you know.
Okay.
You develop their skills. That will include the soft skills, the technical skills, everything in totality.
Okay.
In our organization, we spend a lot of time, money, and energy on building those skills, which add to the 360 degree development of an individual. I'll give you a very simple
So
example.
these trainings are done by external trainers or by
we
internal
get
people?
external trainers. So we get subject specific trainers.
Okay.
So like we have our vice president, she's a soft skills trainer. So we have that kind of a personality in the organization. But then we have, external trainers, a lot of external trainers who come and they train the people on the company vision, mission, and the values.
Okay.
Okay. And of course, we have to tell them in advance, but they have their own methods of, inculcating them into the employees through some interactive sessions, through some games, through some activities. So all kinds of things are done or undertaken by us. The most important thing is giving them the training which helps them do their jobs properly. So somebody who's an engineer,
Okay.
somebody who's into design. So you need to give them design related trainings, design related thumb rules you need to tell them. That of course comes from the top management, So the biggest advantage we have is the top management is all technically qualified. So that helps us, instilling those skill sets into our people. And that is a big motivation for them because they feel elevated. They feel, overall they are being groomed and they're being developed and they're growing. So it's not only the...
How do you build a sense of ownership in them?
They all are process owners. They are answerable for their process. The processes are defined in such a way. The KPIs are defined in such a way. The performance evaluation is defined in such a way. And then on the top of it comes the motivation. So everything is, planned in such a way that they act, behave, and take the responsibility of a process.
In our lab, one of the principles we follow is that happiness is problem solving. What is your take on that?
Sachin, see, we are all humans and we come with different moods every day.
Yeah.
And you have to respect a human in whatever mood he or she is. So as a good individual, as a good boss or a good owner, you need to understand that if he or she is not in a correct state of mind, there must be some reason behind it. And you have to treat them accordingly. So it cannot be that you are always happy or always sad. We are human beings. So our emotions change, our moods fluctuate.
But do you feel that the process of solving problems generates happiness? So if you involve people in the problem...
Definitely, I think any sense of achievement is a big motivation by itself. So once we train them on the problem solving and then we tell them to do it on their own and they're able to exhibit that, yes, I have that capability, I have that competency to solve these kinds of problems independently, that itself is a big motivator. It enhances their happiness index.
Another principle in our philosophy in our lab is that luck is when opportunity meets preparedness. So what is your take on that?
Yeah, I'm a very strong believer that everything has its time. So a student may be very, very intelligent. He may be very confident that, and his parents may be very confident that he's got an intelligence level that he'll clear the IIT exam. But maybe at that very moment when the exam is happening, luck is not, by his side, which we say, ki it was not the right time.
Luck, I am saying that luck is when opportunity meets preparedness. So what I'm trying to say that there is nothing as external luck, but if you are prepared, you make yourself lucky.
I was just adding to that. So it's not just the luck and the opportunity, but it has to be the right time. I am a very strong believer in destiny.
Okay.
So it has to be destined that way.
Okay.
So no matter how lucky you are, how prepared you are, how much, skill enhancement has been done. But if it's not your time, nothing will happen.
Okay. So
I'll put it that way.
This is, it's good to have some people who are defying some of the principles that we follow in our lab, but that's why this lab is an open session to have different ideas culminating. So, Amit, from your fantastic story and experience, what is the one thing that you would like to share with my viewers?
I only say one thing, that grow with your people. You can never grow alone. So you have to grow as a family. Take them along in the beautiful journey of your growth, and you'll make it more beautiful.
Thank you so much, Amit. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you, Sachin.